This is the start of the journey of the Mad Max car. Where do I begin out of all cars that I've ever done in a shop? I'll start at the beginning of purchase day. This is in Milton, Florida at Chris's house, a collector of many cars, and this one happens to be a 1976 XE. It was converted a number of years back. Chris had it in his collection for quite a while. It went through a hurricane, and that's why you see the gray front end and the repairs done on the back of the car. And that's where we take over. So the day came, it arrived here. Mike and Susan delivered it on an enclosed trailer, like they would normally do with a Christine car. And then we put it in the shop, put it on the lift, just to see what we were getting into. So when we got the car, it had the wrong tires and rims on it. But we were able to search, hunt down, find, and do a tire swap with another guy that had the correct style wheels and tires of what we needed for this build. We wanted to restore this car authentically as much as we could to the first movie and not break the bank. So we got with Chris, and we were able to swap out the rear axle, because there was a rear axle in this car that was for a later Ford. So we went back to a Landau rear axle, which is similar to an XB with the four-wheel disc brakes. So in order to get the Mad Max car authentic like the first movie, we needed the Cleveland engine and the top-loader transmission. And this is where Chris played a huge part in getting us some more parts for this car, because we really didn't have anything but a rolling shell at this point. So he delivered the engine. It was an Australian Cleveland 351, and he got us a top-loader transmission as well. So after Chris dropped off the engine, I turned right around, got the pickup truck in the back shop, loaded it in with a cherry picker, and brought it down to Brevard cylinder head. From there, the guys did a great job rebuilding and restoring this engine right back to what we originally wanted to build, an MM1 car. We got the engine back, and then I put it in the paint booth, and then I painted it with base coat clear. Of course, when we do stuff, we base coat, clear coat everything, so we have a bad habit of doing that. We actually put 72-500 premium clear on this engine, the factory Ford color, painted even the valve cover bolts. It took forever to restore the valve covers, but they came out really pretty. Then we ordered a bunch of parts out of the Summit catalog because we had nothing to go off of. And from there, we got the distributor, carburetor, wires, plugs, everything we needed to get this thing to fire off. We wanted to learn a little bit more about the Mad Max car since we've really never done one here at our shop. In order to do that, we wanted to go see the actual car over in Orlando. This was a car that was previously in a museum in Miami, Florida. And then previous to that, it was everywhere else, all over the world. Okay, we're here at Dezerland, and what we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking at the Mad Max car. Okay everybody, so we're here at Dezerland Museum. This is the original MM1 car.
Well, when they bought this car, it's a Ford Falcon XP GT. This was one of 8 that was painted in off-white color. It's like Moondrop or something was the name of the color. I can't remember off the top of my head. But when they bought the car and they ended up transforming it for Mad Max, they painted it black. And it's traveled a lot, which is why it's kind of dinged up, And we have, of course, a bit of the paint that's peeling off here, and it's showing that it's white underneath. This means that either the original paint job survived underneath the original paint, or the guy who restored the car decided to repaint it the off-white color before painting it black to make it more realistic, which I don't know if that would be possible, considering, but it's there, and I can't explain it. Before Mad Max 2, the car was given to a mechanic in Australia because they couldn't actually sell the car. They tried, nobody bought it after the first movie. So they ended up having to buy the car back from the mechanic when Mad Max 2 was being made. And of course, they ended up retooling it a little bit for the second film. And then it got rediscovered by a fan of the franchise, bought the car back, and completely restored it to how it was at the beginning of Mad Max 2. Now it sits here. And Australia wants it back.
Yeah. So after checking out the car at Dezerland, it was pretty obvious to us that we weren't going to get enough information to build this Mad Max car to the first movie. It was already converted to the second movie, and there was a lot more questions than there were answers. But with a little help from the DVD and a couple friends, we were able to get a lot of the information that we needed to bring this car back. And that's where the restoration now begins. Oh boy. Oh boy. Bodyworking this car was a long process. It was a process we had to do under a budget, but when we started blocking it back, we found a lot more work that was done to it by the previous restoration, and that all had to be gone through again. It starts off with the doors. The doors were absolutely horrible at the bottom. They were rusted from all the years of just neglect. We had to clean everything up. We de-rusted the car. We preserved the car, and it took a lot. I wanted to share these pictures with everybody to let them know this journey with this car was pretty intense, but we did the best we could with what we were allowed to under the budget to make it what it is, the MM1 car. Over here is the Mad Max car. It is close. It's in black primer right now. We're going to be working on the back there. He shot this past week. That looks really good. And thanks to Ray, this car has been moving along. I will be getting onto this car when we go to paint, and then we do the engine install and the transmission install on this. We have an Australian Cleveland with its top loader. We're going to be putting it back all original. All right, that's the updates on Max. So when we couldn't go any further with the bodywork, we were done, we were in final prime. We were able to roll the car over, face the car in nose first to do the front clip. We painted the car in phases. That was just the best way we could do this car. We wanted to do the overall. It wasn't going to happen. So we did the front clip in flat black first, and then we back taped it and then painted in the gloss black. Following that, we turned the car around, and then we started going after the back of the car. The back of the car, we did the opposite first. We actually painted the gloss black in, and then we followed up by doing the flat black. All the fine line taping was done by Ray, as well as the paint. Welcome to the mess, what we call Classic Car Creations. My goodness, we have a Mad Max car in paint. Yeah, so that's what's going on with Mad Max here. This car here is getting to the point where I'm going to take over now. Ray did a phenomenal job painting this car and bodyworking it. I didn't do much on the bodywork end. However, I'm going to be doing all the wiring, the glass, the doors, the engine, transmission, everything else to make this thing run and get it out of here. In the meantime, yeah, this is just the tip of the iceberg compared to what we have to do to get this car to run. We have to do a lot of brake conversion. We have to do the rear axle. and I want to make sure the torque boxes are good, because we have a little issue on this one with the torque box on this side, and over there we got a little rocker issue. The rest of it is all done. It's kind of backwards to paint a car and then do work like that and drop an engine in. I like to usually have them done at that point, but unfortunately this one had to go this way. We wanted to finish this one. This was very important. In Espanol, muy importante. So we got this good. It's nice to see. This is rare. This doesn't always happen here. This paint booth is empty. It took a beating though. It's got black paint everywhere. We single staged the car. So in conclusion, with the finishing of the paint job, now our next phase on the Mad Max car is the assembly process, where we'll put the engine and transmission in and start wiring it up. Everyone, thank you for taking the time today to check out our video and our little journey here at this little tiny shop we call Classic Car Creations with the Mad Max car. We'll see you all in the next video. Take care, everybody.